Apologies with the Zoom link, but we're going to send everyone a recording. And then please reach out to me by email if you guys have any questions. But I'm excited to get you guys started on your New Year's resolutions, and this is the best solution there is out there. So let's get started. My name is Heather Sanchez. I'm a board certified family nurse practitioner. I have advanced training from UCLA and the Institute of Functional Medicine, the American Academy of Anti-Aging as well. I specialize in gut health, hormones, detox, cardiovascular health, metabolic support, nutrients, autoimmunity. I support clients through IBS, PCOS, menopause, fertility, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, hypothyroidism, and way more. I have experience in both the hospital and outpatient settings, but through that, I've learned that the root cause approach or root cause medicine is definitely the way to go. Instead of giving band-aid prescriptions, I ultimately help people heal because we figure out what is going on underneath. And that way you can thrive and feel your best. And we also have Anne here on today. She is a certified functional medicine coach, and she's been using Bio1 supplements for almost 10 years. So she's a wealth of information as well. So this reset is perfect for you if you feel inflamed, puffy, tired, bloated, if you're struggling to lose weight despite doing all the things right and eating healthy, if you've been told you have high cholesterol or high blood sugar, fatty liver, or thyroid symptoms, and you want a safe, guided metabolic reset without the extremes, this is perfect for you. So why does this one work as opposed to all the other ones out there? This is why. It supports your gut and cellular repair. It improves insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. It reduces cortisol glucose spikes, supports the liver and glycogen regulation, the gallbladder and bile flow and fat metabolism. It reduces inflammation, which drives cholesterol. It supports the liver in detoxifying. Did you know that your liver also detoxifies hormones? So it's going to help your thyroid hormone make more active T3 from your T4. And I'll show you some case studies later. It helps get rid of extra estrogen or bad estrogen metabolites. It helps balance your hormones ultimately, or it can be the first step in balancing your hormones. It reduces inflammatory blocks that suppress that metabolism in your energy. So this is what you're going to expect. If you have systemic inflammation, joint inflammation, you're bloated, you're puffy, any of these things, all these things will improve. You'll have less crashes. So if you're like reaching for coffee all day, you're tired all the time, this should help. You're going to get reduced cravings at the end of this. You're going to notice your cholesterol go down, your blood sugar, like I said. You're going to have better thyroid activation, so you have more energy. Um, you're going to have better sleep. You're going to have calmer digestion. You won't be as bloated. You're going to have more regular bowel movements, which is a big one people underestimate. You may even notice your skin get clearer, reduced breakouts, and you're going to lose fat easier because you're giving the body what it actually needs and the liver what it needs in order to do these things. Okay, so why is your body so inflamed? So over 90% of Americans have pesticide residues and plastic chemicals in their blood, and that interferes with your insulin, your fat loss, and your metabolism. And the average woman applies 168 chemicals, many of which are what we call hormone disrupting chemicals or endocrine disruptors. They're also known as obesogens that slow fat burning and thyroid function. We also, have so many toxins in our body that this chronic toxic load can directly suppress our thyroid hormone activation, like I said. So it's going to increase estrogen dominance, it's going to raise your cortisol, it's going to raise your cholesterol, and it's going to make it harder to lose fat when you're so toxic. Air pollution, can also increase cortisol and inflammation and belly fat. PFAs or forever chemicals are now found in the United States drinking water, and they're directly linked to weight gain, fatty liver, thyroid dysfunction, and insulin resistance. So it's important to have a good detox with your metabolic reset. And no, I'm not talking about just a juice cleanse. I'm talking about actual nutrients that support your detoxification pathways and your metabolic pathways. So this is a great slide because it really puts things into perspective. So if you're having any of these symptoms here on the left-hand side, which are way more common than you think, fatigue, difficulty sleeping, skin rashes, low libido, indigestion, bloating, constipation, joint pain, food cravings, weight gain, hair loss, weakness, inflammation, if you don't address that, you're only going to get more chronic conditions and symptoms as you get older. So another reason why we're doing this metabolic reset is to literally improve, the quality of life and to help you live longer. Because if they're not addressed over time, you can get things like brain fog, depression, anxiety, ADD, memory loss, neurodegenerative disease, dementia, autism, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, bipolar. As you can see, it really affects the brain over time, these toxins that we, accumulate in our body. So that's what this metabolic reset does, is it helps address those at the same time as helping you lose fat and lowering your cholesterol and your blood sugar. And then again, as you can see, the progression, if you're not addressing these toxins, can go into autoimmunity. So it can start in the gut. It can cause things over time, such as cancers, exercise intolerance, diabetes, Hashimoto's, infertility, miscarriages, osteoporosis, heart disease, and systemic inflammation. So it's really important to address these, but in the correct way. And I'm going to show you how soon. Okay, so another thing that people underestimate is how toxicity can cause weight gain. So our natural detox pathways help clear toxins and help keep us thin. But when we overload these pathways with whether it's toxic foods, environmental toxins, unhealthy lifestyle habits, we suffer from weight gain and we get inflamed. So this next slide is also really important. So have you ever heard of people doing crash dieting, severely restricting their calories, exercising every day, and they're losing the weight, but they're not addressing those toxins that are stored in the fat? So they're losing some weight, but you're not cleansing the cells. So literally what happens as soon as you stop those restrictive diets and exercise, you rebound. The inflammation comes back because the toxins are still there. So when you do a good metabolic reset, which is this program that I'm going to show you, you actually unlock those toxins in the fat and release them. Then you're able to absorb better nutrients, balance your body, and you're able, once you're done with the reset, to maintain it. It's not like you're going to rebound. Or another good example is a GLP-1 injection. A lot of people will go on that and they don't address anything else. They don't address the liver, they don't address the gut, they don't address toxins. So if you do this reset and you're on a GLP-1, you won't have that rebound when you get off of it. So an effective metabolic reset is resetting your organs. And that's what this program does. It addresses the cells. It addresses your blood, your gut, your liver, your kidneys, because this is this is all important for how your metabolism works, how you store fat. Okay, so when you're supported with the correct protocol, your metabolism will respond. So let me give you some examples. Your liver will work better. It's going to clear that bad estrogen. It's going to help convert that thyroid hormone from T4 to the active T3, so your thyroid's functioning better. It's going to help release those stored toxins so fat can finally burn off. Your blood sugar and cortisol are going to finally normalize, and your inflammation is going to drop, so weight loss actually occurs and your energy returns. How many people do you know that go on these restrictive diets and exercising and GLP-1s and they're just exhausted all the time? So you're going to feel good after this reset. Okay, so this is why this metabolic reset is superior to anything else out there. So it works on these three phases. So phase one, we're going to help open up your drainage pathways. So like I said, your body can actually mobilize these stored toxins out of your fat cells. So your lymph, your bowels, your urine, your sweat, all those things are going to be supported. And we're going to guide you through this too, because it's also going to be lifestyle. It's not just take supplements and nothing else. So we're going to go over that next. I'm actually going to give you a workbook, especially if you do purchase the program today. You're going to get a workbook explaining how to do all the supportive things as well. Gut inflammation and toxic congestion begin to calm in that phase one. The liver prepares for detox, and you're going to feel less bloated. You're going to have better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved energy. And then we're going to go into phase two, where you're going to start getting hormone support. So your liver is going to safely convert these toxins and excess hormones into forms your body can eliminate. So that extra bad estrogen, for example, if you have PCOS, even if you have menopause, getting rid of those bad estrogen metabolites can help reduce your risk of cancer. So that's what happens when you support the liver effectively, in this protocol, and that's what it does. So you're going to neutralize those toxins into a safer water-soluble compound. You're going to improve the liver and the bile flow. You're going to improve the thyroid. You're going to improve the estrogen. We talked about this. You're going to improve all the hormones, the cortisol, the estrogen. You're going to have a better mood. You're going to have fewer cravings. You're going to have more energy, and it's going to be easier to lose fat. Because, how many people do you hear that try to go on a diet or try to do some type of cleanse, and it's just so hard to lose the fat? So this will make it easier. Phase three, we're going to eliminate everything. So everything that, your body has been holding on to, it's going to start going out through your poop, through your pee, through your sweat. Your liver and your gallbladder is going to be processing it. And then your cholesterol is going to start to go down. The liver enzymes are going to start to go down. The blood sugar, inflammation around the abdomen is going to go down. You're going to feel like a flatter stomach, clearer skin, and you're going to be able to maintain, like I said. Okay, so let's go over some case studies so you can actually see how this works. So Juliana, she's a 62-year-old female, and you could see here she had her labs checked in March, and then again, I'm sorry, she had them checked in February, and then again in March. And before this metabolic reset, she had low energy, bloating, joint stiffness, stubborn weight, and sugar cravings. And then after this 30-day reset, only 30 days, she dropped 60 points in her cholesterol, 57 points in her triglycerides. She dropped her LDL, she dropped her blood glucose, and even her A1C went down a little bit as well, which is hard to see in a month because A1C is actually over 3 months and it still went down, which is amazing. After that reset, she had more energy, she had a flatter stomach, her joints hurt less, which is a big win for a lot of people. She had fewer cravings, she lost 10 pounds, and she's 62, so it's never too late. Okay, now we have a 46-year-old male. This is Eric. So as you see, he got his labs checked in January and then again in March. And before the metabolic reset, he had brain fog, he had belly fat, he had high stress, he wasn't sleeping well, he was crashing in the afternoon, he needed caffeine every day. But then after this metabolic reset, he dropped his CRP, which is actually a marker of inflammation. He dropped 3 points in his homocysteine, which is also another marker of it's actually how you methylate, but when it's too high, you're going to get inflamed and you're going to get cardiovascular disease and you're not going to be clearing toxins. So he dropped 3 points, which is amazing. He dropped his cholesterol, his LDL, and even his iron. See how high that iron was? So almost like a hemochromatosis. It means when your body is super inflamed, and he got that down in only a month. So after that reset, he had better focus. He was reporting reduced belly fat, better energy, deeper sleep. He was happier, and he lost 12 pounds. Okay, this is Tracy. She was 51 years old. She was a nurse. And I was a nurse for several years in the hospital. I know how it is. Sometimes you don't take care of yourself. So look at this here. December 2017. Look how high her cholesterol is. Look how high that homocysteine is, which is a big marker of cardiovascular health. So she dropped down and then her CRP too, super inflamed. You got to be down below 1, and she was 3.7. So she dropped 2.4 points in that inflammation marker, the CRP. She dropped 5 points in her homocysteine, which means she's methylating better, she's detoxing better, she's not as inflamed, less cardiovascular risk. So before, she was tired, she was inflamed, she was bloated all the time. She said she felt puffy, she couldn't sleep well. And after the reset, she had more stamina, less bloating, calmer digestion. She said she slept better. She said she was less inflamed and she lost 5 pounds. All right. Now, this one is also awesome. This is Mary. She's a 38-year-old female, and she actually didn't have issues with her cholesterol or her liver or her blood sugar, but she had issues with her thyroid. So her T3 free, which is your active thyroid hormone, as you can see here in March of 2025, it was where does it say here? It was 2.9, which is a little low. And when your thyroid's not working well, you're not able to lose weight sometimes. You could see here before the reset, she was tired. She had brain fog. She had cold intolerance. She had weight gain. She was crashing in the afternoon. Her metabolism felt slow. She felt like she was barely eating any food and she was still gaining weight. And after the 30-day reset, she had more energy, more focus. She was less cold all the time. She lost 8 pounds when nothing else worked before, and she had fewer afternoon crashes. She didn't need caffeine anymore. So that is a good one. That's a big one because a lot of people depend on caffeine every day. And if you can do a reset and not depend on that, then your hormones are going to thank you. You're going to lose fat easier. You're not going to be in that cortisol blood sugar roller coaster. Okay. So during this 30-day reset, I'm going to be coaching you every single week, and I'm going to be going through a workbook. We're going to talk about that next, of how you're going to get the most out of your reset. What lifestyle changes do you need to make? Number one thing is drinking enough fluid. So 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. So when you start to hydrate yourself and you add in these supplements, which is we'll go over in a second, which is how we support the liver and how we get rid of fat faster, we need to make sure we're supporting our heart, lubricating our joints, making sure our blood cells are, working optimally, bringing enough oxygen to our brain, making sure our brain is supported with enough hydration, our colon, because you don't want to get constipated, right? Make sure that we're getting rid of toxins through the poop. Make sure that we're getting rid of toxins through the pee. Make sure our kidneys are working well. So this is one big thing that we're gonna, you know, recommend. So if you can drink purified water or water by reverse osmosis, that's even better. Don't drink in plastic water bottles. And we'll talk about all this in depth as we work together. But that's an obesogen, right? It's an endocrine disrupting chemical. So we want to make sure that we're getting our water and we're getting clean water and putting in something like a Stanley cup or a Hydro Flask, right? And we carry that with us wherever we go. And then let's say you weigh, I'm just going to throw it out there, like let's say you weigh 200 pounds. You divide that by two, and that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking a day. So that should be 100 ounces. Let's say you're very active and you're sweating a lot, then you probably want to drink a little bit more those days. So just remember, water keeps your cells hydrated, so it'll give you even better results when you're doing these lifestyle changes along with the supplement program. Okay, again, another thing that will help you get good results with this program is regular exercise. So remember, as you're moving your body, you're improving this toxin elimination through your lymph system, through your respiration, you're sweating, you're mobilizing those fat stores where many of the toxins reside, and you get those to eliminate out of your body. So I always tell people the three P's. Make sure you're pooping, you're peeing, and you're perspiring while you're doing this protocol because you will get the most out of it when you're doing those three things. And like I said, I coach you through every piece of it every week during the cleanse. Okay, you got to make sure you're eating an anti-inflammatory diet. I don't know if you guys heard about the food pyramid being flipped upside down. It actually kind of looks like this, except for the meat, I think was a little bit lower, but you want to make sure you're getting good fats. Look at the bottom of that pyramid here. A lot of people don't get enough of those because that's going to help counteract the bad cholesterol. It's going to help increase the HDL, which is the good cholesterol. It's going to help reduce your cardiovascular disease, and it's going to help aid in this metabolic reset with the other nutrients that you're getting. Avocados, you could do coconut oil in your food, you could do grass-fed butter. Don't cook with olive oil. I usually just tell people to put that on their salads or their vegetables after they're cooked. But you guys can read through these. I will give you more in-depth information in the workbook that's included in this cleanse. But you pretty much want to eat a clean diet while you're doing this cleanse as well. So, keep away from things like gluten or sugar or bad fats and fried foods and things like that. Okay, so this is the workbook I kept talking about, which is amazing. So a lot of cleanses don't do this, or I should say no cleanses do this. This is going to be your guide to rebuild your metabolism, restore your gut, get your energy back, A to Z, what you're going to do every single day. So you're learning more about your body and how it works. And then I'm going to help you maintain these results, by helping you transform your life, through this program. That's my goal. Help everyone transform. Okay. If you can get labs done, you're going to see the progress, like not just symptomatically, but you're going to notice the symptoms improve, but you're going to see all your markers improve. So I highly recommend the labs if you can do them. And then usually you do them right before you start the cleanse and then right after you finish the cleanse. And you're going to do it early in the morning and you're going to be fasting. So nothing to eat, only water. And I'm going to help you order those labs. So when you go to your regular doctor, your conventional doctor, they order basic labs, like maybe 40 markers. This is going to be way more in depth. So let's see here. A lot of conventional doctors don't order an iron panel. They don't order a CRP, which is like an inflammation marker. You got your homocysteine showing how you methylate, a full thyroid panel. They check maybe one or two markers. I'm going to check all of the thyroid markers, vitamin D. And then another thing is I'll help you interpret it from a functional point of view. So you may get these labs somewhere and they won't explain them correctly, but I will explain every single lab and what it means because they just don't know how to look at it from that functional perspective. So your labs are only as good as who orders them. I don't know if you've heard that before. Okay, so these things are also included in your workbook. These are free. You're going to get an anti-inflammatory food guideline. You're going to get inflammation reducing superfoods. You're going to be getting inflammation reducing smoothie recipes. This is little QR codes in the workbook that you scan, and you're going to get even more information. So a lot of value. You're going to get things like daily recipes to keep you on track because this is like the number one question I get. What do I eat for breakfast? If you're not eating gluten, you're not eating sugar, you're not eating dairy, whatever it is, there'll be plenty of recipes and ideas in there. And we can always follow up each week to help you with whatever struggles you are dealing with and help you overcome those things. So again, like I said, there's so many things in this workbook. And then here is a couple things like you get a symptom tracker, you'll get like a advanced metabolic and brain health assessment. So you could do that like, the symptom tracker, usually you could do it every day or so. You could see your symptoms improve over time. And then the assessment you could do like at the beginning of the reset and at the end. So you can see how well your brain, your metabolism has improved. So during our 30 days together, we're going to go deeper into understanding your body. You're going to learn a lot about functional medicine, so about your microbiome, understanding your metabolism, about how your gut interacts with so many things in your body, like the gut-brain connection, the gut metabolism connection, blood sugar balance. So much is included in this program. And like I said, I really want to help you transform your life. So there's going to be like resources on here in here of like reflection. Like, are you listening to your body? What do you notice? Things like that. So you learn your body better at a deeper level and reflecting on what you learned and so forth. So like journal prompts as well, in addition to the information. Okay, so this is why we use a food-based cleanse. I'm going to go into what the metabolic reset looks like, but let me explain it. So it supports your body's natural metabolic detoxification process. We talked about that, getting rid of toxins, which are inflammatory, supporting the liver, which does so many things, supporting the blood sugar, the cholesterol, all that. It's easy to do. You just add 1 to 3 shakes into your daily, routine and your anti-inflammatory meals, of course. And this isn't a restrictive diet at all. So a lot of people will use these as meal replacements, but you can totally eat as long as it's anti-inflammatory and you're not eating things like sugars and things like that. This provides a really balanced and effective nutritional support, like I said, for all three phases of detoxification. So, other cleanses might not address all those three phases. So you're getting a really 360 kind of treatment on your metabolism. It also has, let me see, like protein. It's got botanicals in there to help your liver. It's got so many vitamins and minerals. It's got superfoods in there. If you look at the ingredients, you'll be amazed how many superfoods are in that cleanse, actually. Okay, so there's two options. There's the standard protocol and there's the advanced protocol. So we're going to put in the chat right now, excuse me, we're going to put in the chat right now the two links. And I highly recommend if you can get the advanced reset to do that one, because that's the one that has the most clinically backed case studies. But there are two options depending on which one you want to get. So this is the advanced protocol. This is the 3 shakes a day. So you see the cleanses there? It's a food-based cleanse. So like I said, tons of superfoods, and it's actually tested to make sure it's mold-free, chemical-free, and it's got like supportive adaptogens and mushrooms, like so many good things. You're gonna love the cleanse. And then you have the MCM detox, which is a binder. So as you're starting to get rid of toxins, it's gonna help excrete those things better. So mold, heavy metals, environmental toxins, plastics, then you got the liver gallbladder support, which is super important during a detox. And you're going to take that 3 times a day with your meals if you can. And then you have your TCG activation, which is a fulvic humic acid, and you're going to do it in the morning and you're going to do it at night. So there you go. That's what it is. It's the metabolic support protocol from Bio1 Sciences. It is very effective, as you saw from the case studies. I've seen so many people say, I've done so many other things, and then I finally came to this protocol that you recommended, and I love the results. Okay, so this is a special offer. You're going to get the supplements and all this other things when you buy the supplements. So just for the cost of the supplements. So if you get the advanced protocol, it's $675, but you're also going to get the metabolic reset workbook with guided education and step-by-step protocols. You're also going to get 4 1-hour group coaching sessions so you can have that accountability and so you can ask questions and get answers from me, who is a certified functional medicine nurse practitioner. And you're going to get ongoing support on our patient portal and also in our Facebook group. So this is at least a $2,000 value, if not more. And you're getting all of this for only $675. Like I said, it's only the cost of the supplements, but you will be getting the whole program for that price. So that's the advanced metabolic reset. I will ship the workbook to you when you buy that one. Okay. Now, if you want to do labs, you go anywhere and you get a full functional blood panel, they charge you, a couple grand or at least a grand. You're also going to get a lab review as well. So, usually functional practitioners charge about $500, but I'm going to give that all to you for $599, the labs and the lab review. So you're getting about a value of $2,000, and I'm going to personally review your labs 1-to-1. So it's not going to be on the group coaching. It's actually going to be on a 1-to-1 call, and I'm going to help you get the most out of this 30-day reset. I want to make sure I set you up for success. We're going to go over your history. We're going to go over your symptoms. We're going to go over everything and get you on the correct path. So there's also going to be a link in the chat box for that as well to get the baseline labs and the review appointment. So once you purchase that, we will reach out to you to schedule your appointment. Okay, so this metabolic reset is starting Tuesday, January 27th at 5 p.m. because I want to make sure I give you guys plenty of time to get the supplements, to order the lab or to get the labs done. And then that way we're going to start strong in 2 weeks. So if you can't start with us, you can always start at your own time. But if you purchase the supplements today, you will get the workbook included. And then also we can do our 1-to-1 call whenever you're free. But this is when we're doing, the group calls. And we're going to do it every week. There's going to be 4 calls every Tuesday at 5 p.m., to make sure you're on track. So if you're one of those people that needs people, to help keep you motivated, I highly, highly recommend going to those group coaching calls. That way you get to know everyone else that's in the same, boat as you and getting great results, or maybe there's struggles, and then we can talk about those together and address those. So just know that our team is here to support you, and I'm really excited for you to get your New Year's resolutions and get your metabolism back on track. Okay, now common questions. Is this extreme? No. I think I did say earlier, it's a food-based cleanse. It's very gentle. And you don't have to be restrictive. So, like some people will be like, am I starving? No, you don't have to skip meals or anything. This is very nutrient dense, so you don't need to eat with it. Most people actually feel full with it because it has a lot of fiber, but you can totally eat meals in addition. Just make sure they're anti-inflammatory. And we give you guidelines on that in the workbook. And again, what if I'm busy? So you're going to have daily guidance in your workbook, but you're also going to have the group coaching. If you can't attend the group coaching, I'll send you a recording. But if you can attend it live, you're going to get even more benefit from this. What if you need more support? Because that can happen. Maybe you feel great, but you're like, I know there's more that, I can do. Or maybe you get excited. You're like, I want better. I want even more results. I can help you transition into deeper care if needed. We can also do a review after. We could repeat your labs, which I highly recommend if you do labs to repeat them, and we'll just do whatever was abnormal. And then we'll review those one-on-one, and we'll see what if you need further care, like what we need to focus on. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to go back to this one because this is our special program offer for today only. If you get the advanced protocol, you're going to get everything in here. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat and see if there's any questions, or feel free to chime in. Um, if you have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me just check it. Stop the screen share. Okay, so far no questions. Okay, so who has, if you feel comfortable, put a 1 if you have a goal of weight loss? Okay, let's say you have a goal of lowering your high cholesterol or your high blood sugar. Put a 2 in the chat. Okay. What if you had a goal of improving your thyroid or your hormones? Getting that hormones, the beginning, the hormone balance. Put a 3. Okay. All right. I'm going to share the screen one more time to show you this one. So I'm going to give everyone a few more minutes to ask any questions. If not, I will send you a follow-up email with this information as well. Again, you're going to get, the guided. And by the way, Anne, if you want to chime in, if there's anything that I missed, please feel free. Since you do these all the time, you do these, metabolic resets. Go ahead if you want
Yeah,
to share
no, I
anything.
think you did an amazing job with that presentation. I mean, we have at our practice been doing these metabolic resets for about 10 years now. So, I mean, the case studies that you shared are awesome. And I've got dozens of case studies just like that. And that's because this protocol really works. It really works. It's science backed. It's been studied. The ingredients in the protocol are amazing and it really does work. So if you've tried a lot of other things to get the numbers on your labs to move and they haven't moved, give this a try. It's so effective.
Great. Thank you so much. And what can you tell them
Mhm.
about the workbook?
Yeah, the workbook is new this year. So
Okay,
um,
I'm excited for the
as
workbook.
aside yeah, aside from being a practitioner myself, I'm also project product educator with Bio and Sciences. And so we created this workbook because it can be hard to go through a 30-day protocol kind of by yourself, unassisted. And while our practice often does this as a group where we get all of our clients together to do it, we would have clients that wanted to repeat it again in July because they liked how their January cleanse went so well. They wanted to do it again. but they didn't want to do it by themselves. You know, they wanted some help and some hand holding. And so that's why we created this workbook. It is a wonderful resource and it has a day by day, like from day 1 through day 30, you will learn something each day. That sounds overwhelming, but it's not overwhelming because the pages are, you know, the pages for each day are short, so you can definitely do it. And it's a great way to learn about what's happening in your body as you go through the process. And the more you know about how your body works, the more you can take ownership for getting the results that you want. You know, because anybody can heal. Anybody can get the results like we saw in your case studies. It just takes doing all the steps to get there. So,
Yes, yes. Is
mhm.
there anything else you want to add about the labs or the supplements in general?
You know, like you said it all, and I highly recommend doing the labs because you're gonna feel different after 30 days. So you're gonna know that it works because you feel better in a lot of different ways. But it's really exciting to see how your lab data can change. And so, what better way, like I said, to take ownership of how your body changes and getting your body in shape than to learn what your labs mean? I mean, how many of us go to our doctor and like we're waiting for our doctor to tell us what our labs mean and what we should do. Learning that stuff for myself in regards to my own healing has been a life changer because it empowered me to stay on top of my health in a different way because I understood what my lab work meant finally. So if you can do the lab work, do the lab work. It's really awesome when you see the changes on paper for yourself.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on, and I'm excited for who is going to start with me in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can't wait to see all of your results. So make sure you share them with us at Bio and Sciences because we want to share your success.
Love it. Thank you guys.